Hi everyone, I'm Ling from Taiwan. I work for PDIS and I'm also a vTaiwan contributor. And today in this course, I will take some of your time, around 15 to 20 minutes, and give you a very short introduction to vTaiwan. And then we can go ahead and discuss more in the Q&A session later on. So let's start with very simple question. What is vTaiwan? vTaiwan is a project started in 2014. It is an open project emerged from GovZero, the largest civic tech community in Taiwan. GovZero is famous for its ongoing movement called forking the government. The word fork is often used in open source communities, meaning that you're creating another version of the working software. In our sense, we wanted to create another version of the service that the government should have offered. So you can say it is a very action-oriented mentality where you try to prototype first, and then after you prototype, you can prove that it is possible to provide a certain kind of service in your way. And in the case of GovZero, we say that we are forking the government because we pilot some new ways of doing things, and sometimes the government does take those results back, which is what we call merging back. So in this forking and merging context, vTaiwan was born. The project vTaiwan, from the beginning, targets at prototyping a better consultation process, which brings everyone in rational discussion on national issues. Here I use the word everyone here because everyone can participate and everyone can contribute, and that defines what an open project is about. So vTaiwan is an open project, which means anyone in the world can contribute to the project anytime. We have attracted people from various backgrounds, including developers, designers, lawmakers, and filmmakers, and so on. And in that kind of atmosphere, we created various touch points for vTaiwan, such as a website where people can participate online. It also has a combination of meetings and hackathons where you can participate personally and immerse in face-to-face conversations for public good. So vTaiwan is essentially an online-offline space that hosts an open consultation process. And this process, in the end, will help lawmakers to implement decisions with a greater degree of legitimacy. So, if I want to describe vTaiwan in one sentence, I would say vTaiwan is an experiment that prototypes an open consultation process for the entire society to engage in rational discussion on national issues. Okay, so let's move on to the next simple question. How does it work? Here you can see a roadmap of vTaiwan process, but before we dig into the process itself, I want to remind you that when you read about the process, it only gives you a reference to a possible journey for each case launched on vTaiwan. And that means not every case on vTaiwan follows the same journey, and actually every case on vTaiwan are different. But this map here could give you a rough idea on how a case could be hosted. Okay, let's start. Every case on vTaiwan started from a public issue, and that has to be proposed by the community and gain commitment from the community. The community here includes the civil society and the public sector, and that means both the civil society and the government has to commit to the issue in order to make the issue qualified as a case on vTaiwan. And when the issue is qualified, we launch the case on vTaiwan. And then we'll start to look for stakeholders who are related to this case. This stakeholder discovery phase will be conducted several rounds through a rolling questionnaire where the stakeholders can recommend more stakeholders, and on and on. And then the community will start to produce the case and its description, and that is that should be digestible by the stakeholders and by the general public as well. And if there are terminologies, and that's often the case, those terminologies will be compiled into an open dictionary where everyone can contribute to and use as a reference. Okay, so then when a case description and open dictionary are both created, are both ready, we will create a forum for online deliberation where people can comment their ideas or vote for others' idea. When the forum is closed, all comments will be reviewed, analyzed, and curated as the intro material for the next event, and there will be a face-to-face consultation meeting. So the key stakeholders and active online participants will be invited to the meeting. The consultation meeting will also be live streamed over the internet with the chat room where everyone can contribute their idea to the meeting even if they couldn't be present. So the meeting will be recorded and transcribed, and that will be used as the material for the next action, which could be making a draft bill and sent to the legislation department. So here, you can see roughly 4 stages in the vTaiwan process. But again, there's no rule saying that the stages have to follow one another. In fact, I can give some examples. Like the case FinTech Sandbox, it skipped reflection stage because there was a legislative pressure to pass it quickly. And another case, the Company X Code for social enterprise, went back to proposal stage after completing an initial draft of benefit corporations. And that was because we wanted to reach more stakeholders beyond Type A. But roughly you could say in vTaiwan's process, there are these 4 stages from proposal stage, opinion stage, reflection stage, and legislation stage. Okay, so why is why is vTaiwan important? Why is this initiative, why is this experiment important? As we know, most GovZero projects are initiatives that prototypes a better way of doing things. vTaiwan is no exception. vTaiwan is an ongoing experiment for the Taiwanese government to co-create meaningful policies with its citizens. But this experiment and its scope is not limited to Taiwan or any particular government. It is also an experiment to prototype out a model for consensus generation among the larger group. It is also an experiment for a new way of working together with everyone. So in another word, a larger collaboration model that is scalable and sustainable. When I look at vTaiwan, I see another way of implementing democracy with the help of emerging and existing technology. So if you ask if there are other similar projects, yes, there are many. Many projects in the world have a similar goal in forms of such as direct democracy, digital democracy, rough consensus generation, better way for many people to make decisions together, and so on. And in the beginning of this project, we also hugely referred Regulation Room, one of the earlier developed project by Cornell's e-rulemaking initiative. vTaiwan grew from the Regulation Room's goal to broaden participation and improve quality in rulemaking using technology. vTaiwan built on the valuable work of Regulation Room and further designed itself as a recursive public that is open to transformation and reformulation. So what is recursive public? This term is from Kelty Christopher's work that you can think of as an interactive environment capable of speaking to existing forms of power through evolving rough consensus. And that means if next Wednesday in the vTaiwan hackathon, one of the participants give an opinion on how vTaiwan could work even better, and if that is accepted as a rough consensus, then all this information I'm telling you right now will be history already. It will be just another changelog with a timestamp. And a new rough consensus that runs vTaiwan will be put to execution. And vTaiwan is operated as a recursive public, and we think that the open consultation process should be operated as a recursive public as well. Okay, so let's go on to the last 2 slides before we enter Q&A. Let's see what's the outcome so far. So far, we have 26 cases that have been discussed through the vTaiwan process, and more than 80% of them have led to some government action, often including regulatory reform. And the challenges we have so far includes how might we improve the quality of discussion, how might we improve participation rate, how might we make the process more inclusive and lower the entry level to participate. And also, if we can institutionalize this model, try to empower the government to merge this fork back in minimal ways. So this is the end of slides. I would like to hear some questions from you, and I would like to discuss more with all of you. Thank you.